Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for clicking on my video to spend a little time with me today. I really do appreciate you. Today's video I want to talk about Ogo yarn. I did do a previous video on my Ogo story. I'll link that down below. And that had to do with Ogo Red Heart Super Saver. There are 5 different kinds of Ogos that I discovered. If there's more, let me know down in the description below, down in the comment section if you've got a different Ogo that I haven't discussed here. Pardon my interruption here, folks. I'm going to interrupt myself. I tell you in the video that there are 5 different Ogo yarns that I know of, and there are actually 6. And then I don't go into telling you what they are, so I found that in editing, and I'm going to put that in right here real quick. There's the Red Heart Super Saver. There's a Caron Simply Soft. There's a Caron Colorama that's a 5 bulky weight, and then my Caron Big Donuts. And then there's a Bernat blanket that's a 6 bulky, as well as a new Caron Colorama Halo. I have not experienced that at all. I've just seen it, and it's not something that I'm interested in. But what I did find was interesting is that each of them come with a different number of color changes. From the Simply Soft only has the 2 color changes, and then you'll find that the other different ones have 3 or 4 or 5 different colors. So I just thought that was kind of interesting as well. And I don't know them all, so I'll just tell you what I do, what I have experienced. So this one is made with Red Heart Super Saver, and like I said, I got a whole video about that, but I did not, that's the backside, I did not realize that there were so many different kinds when I started looking into them. So yeah, I'll link this pattern down below because it was quite awesome of me to finish this pattern. I thought this was really out of my wheelhouse, and so when I had the finished product, it was a you go Amy kind of moment. So anyway, so the Ogos come in 5 different yarns, and Red Heart Super Saver is the one that I've already got that video on. And then the only other one that I've purchased is the Caron Big Donut. For any of you who know me, you know that I love a Caron Big Cake. And this is exactly the same yarn. The Big Cake and the Big Donut, they go together kind of, I guess. So the Big Cakes are absolutely beautiful. Their colors are vibrant. The yarn is very solid and offers a beautiful, beautiful stitch definition. And these cakes are 10.5 ounces and 603 yards of 100% acrylic. This is a 4 weight, and these, when I initially found them, were $9.99, and then I had a coupon, or they went on sale at Michael's for $7.99, and I'll pay that all day long for these guys. I absolutely love this yarn, and I can't stop looking at it. I love it. Okay, so because I knew I loved these so much, when I saw these come out, Big Donuts, I knew I was going to be all over it. But these were like $11.99 at the time, and that's a no-go for Amy, big time. So I did wait until I found that they had gone on clearance. I guess people were not loving the Ogo design. If you haven't seen it yet, it's connected in a circle with this little plastic tie, and you just pull those parts away from each other and snip it, and then you've got like this crescent to work with. So you can either pull from the maroon side here or the tan side here and work through it, or some people like to color control and separate them out. But color controlling on variegated yarn or color changing yarn, to me, is kind of like working backwards sometimes, I guess. So I had 4 of this color. This colorway is Lemon Plum, and it's got this gorgeous like maroon, deep maroon, and then an orange and a yellow, and this is kind of like a purple gray, and then this lighter color magenta. See the dark here? There's a good way. So again, these are not colors that I would have thought to put together, and so finding yarn that is color striping on its own is sort of like cheating a little bit, if you ask me, but I'll still do it. I think it's just so pretty. Check this thing out. Woo woo. Here's a beautiful, beautiful play of colors that I would never have put together. So this stitch is called the blanket stitch. It's super duper easy. You do a single crochet and then 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And so when you've got the single crochet height and then you put in the double crochets, it kind of squishes them like a little fake bauble or a little fake popcorn. It gives you this great texture. I mean, look at that. It feels so nice that, like, if this was for a child, they would love that texturing. And it works as an adult for a lap blanket. So again, this was 2 Ogo donuts. I wanted to know how much yarn that would work up, and it's, you know, it's to my feet and to my tummy here. So that's a perfect lap blanket if you ask me. Lap. And I'm not even gonna put a border on this. I really like it just the way that it is. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love, 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 love it. So this is 2 Ogos, and I did 99 chains, and I used a J hook. So there's my 2 labels that I have left, my J hook, and I had just this little bit of yarn left over to even off the end. So if you would like to use 2 Ogos and chain 99 with a J hook, you too can have this lap slash child blanket. Look how beautiful. I love that. And sometimes a missing border or no border can look unfinished, but I like it. I like it, like it, like it. And I'm not a candy corn fan, but that, I know that looks like candy corn to some people, and it's Halloween. It's October 15th, I think, today. So okay, so that was my Ogo blanket that I love so much, and I've got 2 more in that colorway. One of the other colorways that I purchased was Blue Moon, and I previously showed you this blanket that I made with clusters, and this is exactly what I just said is a step backwards. I totally color controlled this, and I like how it turned out, but again, I'm kind of kicking myself because I put in so much extra work for colors that change on their own. So if I was going to do this pattern and this blanket, I should have just used skeins of individual colors. But you know, there's no right or wrong way in crochet. It's all about our craft and our creativity and our imagination and whatnot. So this I showed in a previous video, but I wanted to talk about that today because I'm talking about the Blue Moon Ogo, because I'm also talking about, you know how I like to kind of tie things in together. I have this book called the Crochet Stitch Guide, and there's 86 different stitches in here. They've got it broken down between clusters, texture stitch, picots, V-stitch, special stitches, shells, miscellaneous, and then the general instruction is just like what abbreviations they use and so forth. So I went through here, I've gone through, this is another one of those that I kind of flipped through the book like 50 trillion times. I like a book that is going to do a one skein wonder book, like the other one that I've kind of showed you, done a little preview of that. I like a one skein wonder book because I know I can take, you know, that yarn or a substitute of that yarn, and I should be able to make that item done, right? There's not a whole lot of thought process involved with that. But if you don't have that specific yarn, then you know that that's where Amy kind of goes cuckoo a little bit. So with just a stitch guide like this, I thought, oh, that'd be fantastic because I could use any yarn with any hook, and that's what this is all about, is just showing you the stitches, so you can really put it into anything. So I picked up this is, whoops, I picked up my next Ogo, this is the Blue Moon, and it's got great 3 different blues here and then the 2 different yellows that I really like. And I started working this in the yellow because I found this stitch that I wanted to do called Picots on Parade. So I thought that was really kind of cute. I mean, a lot of these patterns are very kind of lacy, and it's either, here, let me show you. I'll go through this book at one point with you, maybe not today, but there are some where you can see clusters. That's real pretty, but I just made that cluster blanket, so I didn't want to do another cluster in the Blue Moon. Here's another one where it's like super solid pattern, but most of them are more like this, where they're like lacy. And I didn't know that, you know, I really wanted to do something super lacy because of the color changing. You know, you can almost offer too much for the eye if you do a really busy pattern with a really busy yarn color or color changing. So sometimes some of these patterns would look much better in a solid color. Luckily, with a long, you know, time before you change color here, it almost feels like a solid color. So let me show you. This is not easy. How about like this? So this is the one that I did. And if you can see here, you may not be able to see, that's a little picot right there. And then that's a little picot right there. And so I thought, oh, I can get, you know, I'm on the yellow of the blue moon. So let's give that a try. So I used the hook that is suggested with the Ogo, which is a 5mm and H hook. My hair. Ugh. But, so here's my work. And here's this picot. And picots are a pain in the patootie, if you ask me. I am not a fan of a picot. I mean, I think that it can work on the edge of something to give it a cute little edge. But why in God's name am I going to put that in the middle of my pattern? And it just is like, you can't see it. It just gets hidden in there. I mean, you can't even hope that it offers a little bit of texture. Can you see that a little bit? I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to rip it out. I'm not happy with that. It just, the picot is so much work, and then it's just kind of lost in that group. I don't know. I hate to, excuse me. I hate to ever tear out work. And this is another reason, folks. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Swatches are good to find out. Like, I could have just done that much and realized that I wasn't liking the picots. But I didn't. I did all of this. So now I'm going to have to rip all that out. And then I'm unhappy about it. And then I have an open Ogo. And I have to, you know, quick think of another pattern to use with this yarn because it's open now. I don't know. Sometimes you find things that I kind of was excited to work on that, and then it didn't. I don't think that it was working out. So I think it's a great little book. It does offer a lot of different ideas. A lot of them are, they look similar to me. I mean, I know that there's so many, like, a V-stitch only looks like a V-stitch so many ways, you know. I don't know. I'll go through it with some different yarns and see, you know, what I can come up with different patterns. But I kind of, you know, wanted to look at some of these that are like, I really like that one, but do I want to do green and orange or yellow? No, then I have to stop and think, okay, what color combinations do I want to use? And I was kind of like specifically trying to use up some of the stuff up here so that you guys can have a different background. I mean, you know, if my window's only this big, I want to change what's in that window kind of frequently, not frequently, but often enough so that you guys get a different backdrop or whatever. And so I really thought that I would work on that Ogo QB here. So that was one. I had 4 of these and forgot this colorway and forgot that I had bought that colorway. So when I went back to the store when they were on clearance, I bought another 4. So I had 8 of this colorway. So I'm just trying to get through it, and it's not, I'm not even mad about that because, like I say, this is one of my most favorite yarns. I just absolutely love this, the feel and the texture. It feels like I'm working with some good yarn. And that's not all Caron product, you know. Caron cakes are different. Caron cakes are made with 20% wool and 80% acrylic. So with these, you definitely see a different look in the yarn. Can you see the difference? I mean, this isn't a bad yarn. I like a Caron cake, and I really like the color changing cake. But I like see that blue is just such a solid strand. I never get splitting with my Ogos. Never. And well, with my Ogo Big Donut. The Red Heart Super Saver split a lot. But, excuse me. So, the other Ogos, I did not buy them. I don't think I will buy them. The Colorama, I've got so much bulky here, even though it's Caron, I didn't get into it. And you can still find all of these Ogos online, and now they've got the new Halo one out. I haven't even looked at that. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. So I'm not sure. I think my sister might have got this for me, or maybe this was one of my mom's. I'm not sure. I sometimes have to look at a date to see if it was my mom's. 2014. So this was not my mom's. She passed away in 2009. So my sister must have gotten this for me. She's been such a support. Thank you, Caron. I love you so much. And so it's a fun little book. And I'm going to try to make some more swatches before I make, just jump right in with both feet and try to do, because it's kind of a challenge to myself. I can read that pattern. I can make that item. Boom. I'm just going to do it. And then I get in there and it's not that easy. So I signed up for a vendor event, which is kind of not really my thing, but I keep trying to make it my thing. And my husband said, "What are you doing? I thought you said you were done last year when it was, another fail." And I thought, well, it's kind of like having a kid. A lot of people, when they're in there, the delivery room, they go, "I'm never having another baby." And then you have another baby because it's what you do. So I've got the vendor event coming up. It's in 3 weeks, I guess. 4 weeks. It's November the 12th, I believe. And so I went through all my stuff and tried to sort of separate it out. And so now I've got to kind of figure out what my tables are going to be set up. Like, you have to do some, in the past, I just, I feel like this is just such natural stuff, and I'm just going to go out there, and I'm a sensible person, and I can just go out there and figure it out, right? But there's a lot of trial runs that you have to do. You've got to figure out how your table's going to be set up, because, other people, like, this is their thing, and they make you look, me, when I say you, I mean me. I get out there, and some of these vendors really have it going on, and I look like a cheese ball out there, and that's not what I want. I want the everyday person to be able to connect with me. And I do crochet, and when I see some of those people who have their fancy schmancy crochet stuff set up, I don't feel like I can relate to them at all. I feel like they're a totally different type of person than me. And so, what I try to do on my channel here is connect in the way that I was trying to connect with people. So I know that if I want to learn about yarn in a certain way, that's what I'm going to put out there to you guys, because I know that somebody out there wants to learn the same way that I want to. So it's just a matter of connecting with those that are like-minded or are going to think the way that you do. And so when I sit down to chit-chat over crochet with my friends like this, sometimes it's just telling you what I've been up to, and sometimes you actually are going to learn something or be inspired or motivated by something that I've shown you, which is really what I'm set out to do. So in the beginning, in sharing the Ogo yarn information, that's because I wanted to find, I've got this yarn and how can I use it, and here's this finished product that's going to tell me I have that yarn, that hook, that pattern, and I can make that. So that's the type of thing I like to share with you guys. So chain 99, J-hook, blanket stitch, you've got a done product. Alrighty guys, I am so comfortable with you that I get to a point where I just start rambling, and I've got to edit the video. I've got to just chop that off, grab my senses, and just thank you guys. I really appreciate any time that you spend with me, anything that I share with you that you might find some inspiration or motivation from. That's really what lights my fire. So thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate your time. Please come back and see me again. If you haven't subscribed, click that button, and there's a drop down for all notifications, and that way you won't miss any video that I put out. So I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day. I hope to see you back again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.